Modern manhwa is addicting, but why does it feel so damn empty? You'll binge 80 chapters in a day, finish the story, and 5 minutes later, you can't even remember the main character's name. Hell, you can't even remember why you liked it. It's like you smashed a tray of fast food. Greasy, satisfying in the moment, but zero substance. And look, I don't think most manhwa is bad, but I do think a lot of it is built to be consumed, not remembered. It's disposable dopamine, fast food storytelling, designed to hit hard and vanish fast. And the reason for that is how these stories are written, and how we, as readers, devour them. Regression, tower climbing, status windows, level systems, special hitting classes, legendary skills unlocked through trauma or betrayal. If you read 5 modern manhwa, you've probably seen this exact opening at least 3 times. It always starts the same way. Guy wakes up with a mysterious power, usually right before getting killed by some random villain. Then a pop-up tells him, congratulations, you awaken the god-slaying shadow necromancer class. And boom, he's off to the races. Kill monsters, get stronger, beat the boss, rinse and repeat. But here's the thing. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes even with all the formulaic bullshit, it still works. Take solo max level newbie and reborn young lord as an assassin. Are they deep? No. Are they predictable? Absolutely. You know exactly when the MC will get a mascot bet. You can tell which girl's gonna fall for him the second she shows up. But despite all of that, I enjoyed the hell out of them. Why? Clean art, entertaining fights, great side character interactions, and honestly, it leans into the formula so hard that it kind of loops back into being fun again. A lot of manhwa are like that. They're not doing anything new, but they do have the standard stuff really well. And when that's the case, it's a smooth ride. The problem, most manhwa don't even try to go past that. But sometimes manhwa actually hits, not because it throws the formula out, but because it twists it. Let's start with Triple S class Suicide Hunter. Yeah, it's a tower story. Yeah, it's the same leveling and still copying trope, but what makes it stand out is the cost of that power. Every time the MC copies someone's ability, he has to die and relive their trauma. So suddenly we're not reading another fight to the top power fantasy. We're getting these self-contained emotional arcs about loss, betrayal, desperation. It has actual weight. The mirror mark and the romance arc right after it, genuinely some of the most beautiful storytelling I've ever read in manhwa. And what made them so good wasn't a big boss battle or flashy new skill, it was the scenario. The quiet emotional setups, the master-disciple relationship, the pain of legacy, the fulfillment of wishes left behind by the people inside the tower. It wasn't about beating the floor, it was about understanding it, solving the emotional tension, not just surviving some gimmicky tests. And the series knows the MC is busted, it leans into that, which is why it has room to breathe to explore deeper ideas like how the tower's floors came to be, what actually drives the characters inside them, and what it really means to clear a scenario. It's still a power fantasy, but it's a self-aware one. It hits different because of the trauma, the emotion, the sacrifices. They're baked into the power system itself, and that opens up storytelling potential you rarely see in these type of manhwa. Then there's Eternally Regressing Knight, aka what worthless regression should have been. The MC has an overpowered ability, sure, but he himself is completely talentless. He just keeps dying and is forced to relive the same day over and over again until he's strong enough to win. The manhwa shows this through a giant metaphorical wall he's climbing. Every time he thinks he's made it, the next wall is even higher. So why even bother? Why keep going? Because he's obsessed. He doesn't have some hidden class, busted item, or god tier bloodline. All he has is grit, the stubborn will to learn from every death, no matter how brutal. Yeah, a lot of MCs say they want to get stronger, but most of them find some shortcut, a dungeon gimmick, a rare skill, or some broken weapon. This guy doesn't get that, and that's what makes it feel different. It's rare you get a story where the MC doesn't gain a shiny new upgrade every 10 chapters, and instead you just watch someone grind through suffering, failure, and repetition. Hero's Return is another weird one. At first it feels like your typical edgy revenge power fantasy. The hero comes back to Earth, everything's gone to shit and he just snaps. Like some high schooler's society wronged me delusion, turned into a bloodbath. But then it flips. The Hero of Returns arc, which by the way shows the dark side of these perfect regressors you never think about, hits you with one of the greatest plot twists I've ever read. It explains why this story feels like some edgy revenge story about heroes killing everyone, where everything is depressing and there's no hope. The twists make your mind race and think about all the interactions and moments that came before. It was thought-provoking, which a lot of manhwa just didn't provide me. What starts as a mindless kill-everything story slowly reveals something way deeper. The pacing's rough, I'm not gonna lie, but the payoff, way better than you'd expect. Also, yeah, I already made a full video on this, go watch it. Then you've got Dungeon Odyssey. Most people bounce off this early. Stylized art, dungeon builder instead of solo RPG, not what you're used to if you come from solo leveling. But it's clever. It leans into building out the world, making you care about the minions, the system, the strategy. And it's hilarious, like actually funny, not forced webtoon comedy energy. Honestly, some of the best Easter egg references I've seen. Most manhwa wouldn't give this much breathing room to side characters or world building, but that's exactly why this one sticks. It's not a sprint to godhood. It's about building something weird, ugly, and hilarious, and letting it grow. Debut or Die is another one. Yeah, it's a game system, but instead of another dungeon crawler, it throws that gimmick into the K-pop idol industry, and weirdly it works. The system gives you something familiar to hook onto, sure, but the tension, that comes from real-world drama. It's not some Demon King arc, it's a survival show hell, produced one-on-one style, with just enough desperation to make it hit. And while the system sets it all up, it's not the focus. It fades into the background, and the story leans harder into the human stuff: stress, performance anxiety, rivalries, burnout. That's the kind of stuff that's actually relatable. It's not just what if idol but gamer, it's what if the system was just one more layer of pressure in a life that's already hard. And that makes it land harder than half the Become God by Chapter 20 stories out there. Killer Peter does what I want from these high school gang fight manhwas, which is to not be set in high school, which is funny because he did have to go back to high school for a bit, and to not have these convoluted power and ability systems. I don't want the power system to tell me how strong the character is. I want the character to show me. How do the new gen disciples compare to the old? Not this triple S+++ ranking agility, but to show me how agile they are. I'm looking at you, Quest Supremacy and Reality Quest. Just pure action, just a young John Wick cleaning house with everyone. You don't need a stat window to make a fight brutal. You just need stakes. And this one delivers. By stripping out all the game mechanics and school game tropes, it reminds you what actual tension feels like in a fight manhwa. It's proof that ditching the system gimmick entirely can actually make your story more gripping, not less. So yeah, manhwa can absolutely hit. But when it does, it's usually because it finds a new angle on the same formula, or it burns the formula to the ground and says, nah, we're doing this raw. Let's talk about the fast food effect. Binge reading has completely warped how we experience manhwa. You're flying through 80 chapters a night, and your brain starts subconsciously recognizing the same recycled tropes. You see a cute female lead and you think, yup, she's gonna fall for the MC. You see some divine beast and you think, oh great, here comes the chibi pet sidekick. It's like being a drug addict chasing the next fix, except the high is finding the next solo leveling. But you'll never get that same feeling again, not like the first time. So you hop from series to series, dropping anything that dares to slow down or do something unfamiliar. And then the second you burn out, you stop. Maybe come back later when your old favorites have piled up 50+ unread chapters and boom, you're right back in it. I'm definitely guilty of this too. Judging a manhwa within a few chapters doesn't hook me fast like the other ones I just read. Finding anything remotely interesting to fill the hole the last one left behind. Not wanting to give a manhwa the chance to build a story for the payoff. The cycle never ends, and it messes with your standards. Now everything has to be instantly good. Hook in the first chapter, gimmick introduced right away, art has to be clean, MC has to be competent, and the power fantasy has to feel earned but not too slow. You want the main character to be badass, but not so OP that there's no tension, but not too weak either because then it's boring. Honestly, Eternally Regressing Knight nailed this balance. It showed us the gimmick, showed us he sucked at it, and made us watch him suffer to improve. It scratched that itch without just throwing a busted ability at him. But most stories don't try to hit that balance. They throw out a hook, push the power scaling hard in the first 10 chapters, and burn out before chapter 40. So what happens? You forget everything. That's why people have such extreme takes. This is peak storytelling, or trash, don't waste your time. There's no middle ground anymore. It's either a 10 or a 0 because we treat these stories like fast food. Either it hits your craving or it's garbage. We don't chew, we inhale. Let's be honest, not everything needs to be peak. Sometimes a manhwa is just pretty damn good. It doesn't revolutionize the genre, it doesn't throw out the formula, but it executes well enough to keep you hooked for 50, 100, 150 chapters, and that should be fine. But with how fast we consume manhwa and how many of these stories blend together, people start treating every slightly above average experience like it's some life-changing masterpiece. And it's not. It's just good, and that's okay. I've seen people call all sorts of manhwa peak, and I can't even remember what happened in them. Comment below which series you think is way overhyped. They follow the formula, hit the familiar beats, and yeah, they're fun to blast through, but as soon as you read the next one, the memory of the last one disappears. And part of that is because manhwa readers are binging multiple series at once. You blast through so many stories that your tolerance goes way up. Now if the first few chapters don't have amazing art or interesting twists, it gets dropped instantly. But rewind a few years, if I had read these back when solo leveling was still ongoing, I probably would have thought they were peak too. The standard was different. Some manhwa do follow the formula really well, and that's what sets them apart. Like how Riot took the Counter-Strike formula, gave it a new coat of paint, added some innovation, and boom, Valorant showed up. Same concept here. You don't even need to invent a new genre. You just need to execute better than everyone else does. So yeah, not everything is peak. Sometimes it's just solid. The problem is we don't know how to process that anymore. And honestly, that might be why the word peak hits so different depending on whether you're reading manhwa or manga. You ask a manga reader what's peak, you're probably getting something weirdly emotional, genre-breaking, or deeply philosophical like Oyasumi Pun Pun or Homunculus. I recommend both, by the way. Not another dude with a pop-up window and shadow powers. But in manhwa, peak usually means better than the rest of the trash I've been binging lately, which leads to such polarizing opinions on manhwa. There's some amazing ones out there, but people can't hold their attention past 20 chapters and proceed to drop it. So if their attention does hold, it's peak, and I get it. There's so much mid out there that anything slightly above it feels elite in comparison. That's not to say manga doesn't have its own pile of garbage. I've read some isekai manga so complex and dull it felt like homework. But manhwa leans hard on what works, and when it works, we call it peak, even if it's just pretty good. So the next time you call something peak, ask yourself, is it actually elite, or did it just not suck like the last 10 I read? So how do you fix manhwa? The truth is, maybe you don't, not entirely. As long as people keep chasing that same rush, that next solo leveling, that next regressor, or 99th circle mage, there's always going to be a wave of copy-paste manhwa. Some good, most mid, and a few unforgettable ones. And honestly, that's fine. But I do think manhwa could use a reset, not a reinvention, just some tightening up. Start with power scaling. Give your MC a gimmick, sure, but make it something they have to struggle to master. Don't just give them some legendary class they unlock because they happen to save a cat in chapter 1. Make them work for it. Make the wins feel earned. Then, slow the hell down. You don't need to blow your load in the first 5 chapters. Let the world breathe a little. Let us feel the stakes. You don't need to kill a god before chapter 10. Chill out. Side characters too. Give them a purpose beyond being hype men, info dumpers, or glorified cheerleaders. Some of the best moments in solo max level newbie or young lord as an assassin weren't even about the MC. They're about the camaraderie. You already know the MC will overcome any challenge that is thrown at him. As cliche as it is, it's about the journey, not the destination. And what's a journey without companions? Companions with witty banter or hold their own without needing the MC to help. Or even better, companions that grow stronger with the MC and not just be a one-time gimmick to help the MC grow stronger. That's what sticks, not skill names or class ranks. And the systems, can we relax with that? If I see one more pop-up unlocking a passive skill because the MC drank a tea a certain way, I might actually lose it. You understand, right? You read so many stories with systems that are just used to hand wave away how the MC got past the tribulation. Or a bunch of jargon and made up titles and stats to tell you the MC's skills as if you were a 5-year-old. It's more fun if the MC can solve problems with skills rather than with skills. So yeah, modern manhwa doesn't need to be fixed, but if more series aimed for resonance instead of just dopamine, we'd get fewer fast food reads and more stories that actually stayed with you. So is this a problem with the author, the reader? Is this whole problem only for a minority that wants to go beyond solo leveling? So yeah, not everything is gonna hit like your first manhwa, and that's okay. Sometimes you just want something fun, fast, and familiar. Other times you want something that actually sticks. Something that lingers when you close the tab, that makes you pause, maybe even reread a few panels before moving on. The best ones, they do both. And that's what I'm chasing. Not just peak, not just hype, but manhwa that actually feels like it was worth the time. Anyway, that's my rant. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more honest takes on manhwa, drop a sub, leave a comment with your peak recs, or tell me what you think manhwa's biggest issue is. I read it all. More reviews, breakdowns, and thoughts coming soon.